This call is now being
Global
recorded.
Talent. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joseph Castro.
un individuo encarcelado en la prisión estatal de Ironwood, Blythe, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Talent.
Hello, hello.
Hello, what's up, James?
Hey, Joseph, how's it going?
Man, everything's good. What's up with you, man?
Man, just right here, just waiting for that phone call. Hey, you know what? I want to go ahead and wish you a happy Father's Day.
Man, thank you, bro. Happy Father's Day to you too.
Man.
Oh man. To all the lizard dads out there, you guys understand, To all the ones that got lizards out there in prison, they know what you mean.
Oh man, hey, what kind of lizard do you got?
I got a desert iguana.
Oh man, and what do you get those at the canteen or what?
Yeah, you just pray to God and they show up, They show up at the right time,
Yeah.
Yeah, I got him at work. I caught him at work. I caught him sleeping out there. And then it seemed like he was looking for a home,
Yeah. Man, man, you know what? Right now that you mentioned lizard, right there at Ironwood, and just to for clarification, you'll be the first individual and currently the only individual that we have on. You have a collect call from that's calling from Ironwood State Prison. I'm trying to expand to different prisons. So I want to go and give a shout out to Eric, for making that happen and connecting us, with yourself, with you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Man, that's my boy right there. I miss that.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
The moment he mentioned it to me, man, I was like, man, that's an awesome opportunity. And, shout out to you, though, too, for making it happen because I know it wasn't easy, getting the whole setup, getting the technology down and all that stuff. And really, it takes courage to do something like this,
You know what? But all of this, I can't do it by myself. I had to get the blessings of my wife. If without her blessings, then none of this would have been possible. So, shout out, big shout out to the wifey.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And and for Eric, making these connections. Man, so we haven't been on. I think it's been maybe like a good 2 weeks or whatnot since the last time. We spoken, due to scheduling, conflicts, my end and your end, sometimes it's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
We were supposed to, do a stream last Sunday, but I had my daughter, she came out from out of state to visit, so I had to reschedule, and this was the next, available opening, for both of us, so I'm glad you were able to, call in today, definitely, looking forward to,
no problem, bro.
Hearing about everything that you got going on, like I mentioned earlier on, you met up with with Eric in that program, and hopefully you could share shed a little bit more light exactly what is it that you're doing, and like if these certificates, like if one day you're able to parole, if they would help you, like get a job or how does this program benefit you, and how will it benefit others that reach out to you, for help and things of that nature?
Yeah. So the program, right? The Offender Mentor Certification Program. It's OMCP, right? So it's been around since 2009, right? It was first implemented in San Quentin, but it wasn't the OMCP program yet, right? It wasn't until it took off in Solano in 2009, and there's actually a documentary about it. It's called First 50, right? And it's about the whole program, about how they came up with the idea. I forgot the guy's name, the actual like creator of this whole program. I think his name's Tom, I believe. But they were basically like, excuse me, I might sneeze right now. Damn it. That one got me. No, but so we had a Dr. Davida Cody. She was a physician activist and like the founder of Options Recovery, and then there was the guy Tom or Todd or something like that. And basically what they were coming up with, obviously it sounded crazy at the time, but to create a program that could basically bring about like people that are incarcerated and give them an opportunity to become a drug and alcohol counselor, right? And so they had to go through. Imagine the struggle for that, you know, like, well, why would we train drug and alcohol counselors in prison, you know? Like, what's the point of that? Especially people with life, you know, like, you're just wasting money on these guys that are never going home. But thank God they got it done, man. And since 2009, there's been cohorts, and before it was just Solano. I believe it was just Solano, and then it was CMC, Tehachapi, where I did it. There was, I want to say Corcoran, Valley State. I'm not sure where else. But, so the way that I found out about this program, though, right, I was in Calipat, and I was one of the lead like facilitators for our LWOP group, right? And our sponsor was she was my counselor, my CC too. So she was a high-ranking counselor. She wasn't just a regular counselor, but she went for a job interview in Tehachapi, right? And when she came back from that job interview, and it's crazy because she was trying to get the job that I would have, like, she would have basically been my boss or the person that I was under in Tehachapi how she got that job. But she told me about the program, and I remember she gave me the application. And mind you, she had just came back from Tehachapi and was like, look, I went for a job interview out here, and there's this program that gives you an opportunity to become a drug and alcohol counselor. And the first person I thought about was you, because you're a natural leader. You're already facilitating groups. Like, you're just a leader at such a young age, right? And I was like, all right, you know, I'll check it out, I'll read about it. And then, but she said it was in Tehachapi, bro, and I was just like, oh, hell no. I was like, I'm not going to go to that prison. That prison's known for the cops being corrupt. It's just a horrible culture, and I didn't want to go, you know? But she, like, obviously she had a lot of influence on me by telling me, like, look, I really think you could do this. Like, you'd be a perfect candidate for this, and you can help so many people. You're already helping people. Like, you already help, like, mentor people, and you're taking them under the wing. You sponsor people, right? And I thought about it, you know. I was like, we'll see what's up, you know. Like, I don't really feel like going to Tehachapi. But I wasn't, and this is the crazy part, James. I was endorsed to Centinela at this time. I was supposed to go from Calipat to Centinela, which is the crazy part. And basically what I filled out the application, didn't think much of it. I had to ask the CEO for, like, because you got to get endorsements, right? And are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I thought maybe it went silent like how it did earlier.
No.
But so I had to get an endorsement from my CEO in my building. He's the one that gave me my last write up too. Yeah. That was the crazy part. So I was super like, this boy ain't gonna give me no. He's not gonna like endorse me to go to this program. There's no way. But I took a leap of faith. Like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do and all this stuff. And then my counselor, she's the one that like did the other, like, basically they're vouching for you, saying that like you're really about this program, or that you would be an asset. Like, they're like speaking about your character. And they both signed it, bro. And And so I turned in the application to her. And mind you, at this time, COVID's still going around too. So I'm endorsed to Centinela. I'm supposed to go there. And because I filled out that application, and I basically got accepted without, and mind you, I didn't even know there was an interview process for this too. So they switched my endorsement from Centinela to Tehachapi. And now I'm happy too. Now I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to be closer to home. I'm getting out of this stupid ass desert. But prior to transferring, the OMCP program also opened in Lancaster, which would have put me probably closer to home. I'm not sure which one's closer, Tehachapi or Lancaster, but Lancaster was like one of the original prisons I wanted to go to because it's close to where I'm from. And but it was still going to be on a level 4, and I was just like, and it was guaranteed though. Like if I would have went to Lancaster, I would have been guaranteed OMCP, but it was a level 4 still, and I was like, I'm cool off of being on the level 4, you know. Mm-hmm. I just want to go somewhere where I could program and have more opportunities and more privileges. And the counselor told me, this was my actual counselor in the building. She's like, look, you have 5 minutes. So I'm gonna be honest with you, right? I went to my cell, I prayed on it. I just prayed to God, like, what should I do? Like, give me the wisdom, you know? And I felt like, because he had opened that door for me to go to Tehachapi, I felt like that was the place I was supposed to go. And so I denied Lancaster, right? Long story short, James, this is going to be hilarious, right? But I went to Tehachapi.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
So I go to Tehachapi, right? I transferred to Tehachapi. This got me pissed off, right? So they hadn't done all the interviews on the yard. Mm-hmm. But, bro, I didn't even get into OMCP at first. So they did the first cohort, and I didn't get an interview. Bro, I was pissed, James. I was like, these freaking assholes, like, man, they got me in this messed up prison. You know, like, these fools are scandalous. Like, dude, it was, like, heartbreaking, you know? But thank God I wasn't part of that first cohort, because you start off with 36 people, only 17 of them survived. You know, only 17 of them graduated. And they didn't have that low of numbers because people were going home. It's because people got kicked out of the program. They had a few people that got granted parole, but it was because they weren't staying sober. They were getting write-ups, and like if you get a write-up, you're out, right?
Yeah.
So thank God I wasn't part of that first cohort, but I did get my interview, and I was one of 3 people from the yard that got approved for that OMCP program, right? So that's where I ended up meeting Eric. Eric came from Centinela. And so we were all part of the same cohort. And basically, like, so what you start with in this program is you have to go through this integrated substance use disorder treatment program. So that's what we teach right now, right? And but you have to go through it, and it's accelerated. So what usually takes about a year, a little over a year, we did it in 8 months. And the only reason it was 8 months was because of COVID. Otherwise, we would have done it in 4 months.
Yeah.
So we started with that because it's basically you're going through your treatment phase. Like you have to like dig some things up. And within that 36 people, were split into 3 groups, 12, 12, and 12. So, you know, that was the beginning of our journey with the OMCP program to become counselors. Like, you're not going to be a counselor if you're not going through the same treatment that your clients or your participants are going through. So we went through that. That was, like I said, we started in, I want to say we started in May 2022, and we finished January 2023. Then we went into the education phase, which, like, it's literally, bro, like, we had some, like, therapists, people with, like, master's degrees. We had a college professor coming from Stanford to teach us. You have to learn about pharmacology. You have to learn about relapse prevention, anger management.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
You just learn about all the aspects of what it means to be a counselor. Like, it's the education portion. And it's easily an $80,000 education. That's what they tell us, you know? And we get literally the best of the best. It's not like a city college or anything. It's like, and some of them some of our teachers were OMCP cohorts themselves. They were ex-lifers and everything coming in to teach us about these things. So you see the power that this program has, you know, like you can have life in prison and get out and be a drug counselor, or you could be a teacher, you could teach this stuff. And yeah, bro, so we went through that education portion, and it's heavy, bro. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff you have to learn, but you're preparing to take the state test, because you have to take a state exam to be a certified counselor. So.
All right, so he should be calling us back shortly. You know, these calls, once again, if you should be familiar with this if you do accept, you know, collect calls from GTL or the state of California. Normally these calls are only 15 minutes. And, you know, once he calls back, then he'll go ahead and continue with his journey. And this would be Joseph Castro. He's currently serving life without the possibility of parole. So he would be known as a LWOP. And I'm currently doing a simultaneous stream. We're currently on TikTok and on YouTube. I want to go ahead and, you know, say thank you to Dimples13 for wishing us happy Father's Day. And there it is. He's calling back. You can hear multiple phones ringing in the background.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joseph Castro.
un individuo encarcelado en la prisión estatal de Ironwood, Blythe, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello. Yep.
Okay. So an important part of that education phase, right, that we go through for OMCP, they call it the parallel process. So you're not only learning like the education portion, but at the same time you're still going through like your treatment. So you're learning stuff about yourself. You have to dig a lot of stuff. You go through your trauma, your past, like how did you get to where you were at. You really learn about like why you decided to use drugs and resort to a lifestyle of criminality or gang membership and addiction and all that stuff. So it's not like if you were to just go to school and you're just learning the information. You're like learning the information and working on yourself. You're basically like going through education and therapy at the same time. It's kind of crazy, right? But so we had to take all those classes. We had to learn about all that stuff. And then during that process, too, you have to get 255 hours of practicum hours, which is basically like being in the field, right? So with that, that's where our job actually comes in, where we're not considered counselors in prison, but we're considered mentors. That's why it's called the Offender Mentor Certification Program. The reason that they got to call us mentors and not counselors, because as counselors, we fall under these guidelines of law and ethics, right? So obviously you can't live with your client, you know? So that's the reason why they call us mentors, but we're still counselors. Like I still have a registration card and everything. I'm still registered with a state agency, a certifying body and all this stuff. And so we did the 255 hours. I didn't do it with Eric. I worked with Eric, but we worked in the same classes, but two separate counselors, you know. So I got, like I said, Eric's my boy, man. We went through a lot together within this program. I learned a lot about him, and he learned a lot about me. You know, I was there with him when he went through some hard things and vice versa, right? But so we did the 255 hours of facilitating the ICEMAN class, learned about different counselors. You work with all the counselors in the prison, the ones that are coming from the street. So you start learning that, okay, this person's way of teaching a group might be different from this person. And so I worked with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would say about like 8 or 9 different counselors while I was doing the practicum over there in Tasby. So I learned a lot. And then not only that, bro, but like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but some of those counselors, like, they rely on you to do their job now. You know, you make their job easy in that you're running the group for them, basically. I'm not saying all of them, not all of them are like that, but for some of the majority of them, they were just like, we never had a mentor, and then not only that, you guys have the experience of being with them on the yard, so you kind of have a more credibility because you're in blue just like them, but you're teaching them the same curriculum, so it has a crazy impact and effect on the yard. But yeah, we graduated October 16th, 2023, and from there, that's why I transferred to Ironwood to do my intern hours. So right now, I have to get 2,080 hours to become a certified counselor. Right now, I'm just a registered intern. So my certifying body is with Katie, the ACC, BC, and like I actually have 2 cards. Like they give you a registration card. The first one's a registered addiction counselor, and then the next one's an intern. So my number, you could go on the website, the ACC BC website and everything, and like if you type in 16531I, like it'll show my name, it'll show my like what stage of a counselor I'm at, which is an intern. Like so if and this is the crazy part, if I were to get out right now, James,
yeah,
I would have job opportunities no matter what city I was at, what county. Because, you know, addiction's everywhere. They're like, it's not going anywhere. There's no cure for it. So, literally, I have a job the moment that I step out of this environment. Once I get out of prison, like for sure, I'll have a job waiting for me. So, that's the beauty about this whole program too. Is like, you could find a job easy. Like I talked to my boys that were in this program with us that paroled. You know, some of them started off with $25 an hour. Some of them were already at $35 an hour. And yeah, man, it's a blessing, man. Like the counselors that I work with right here in Ironwood, they're nothing short than amazing, right? Like one of them, he paroled from Ironwood.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
The other counselor, and I remember I was telling you that one of my counselors, she actually listens to your podcast. and you know, shout out to her, man, because like when I was kind of shocked and she's like, I heard you, and I was just like, what the heck? Like, what do you mean? Like, I thought she was talking about something completely different on a different podcast, and man, bro, like, it's an amazing thing to be able to work side by side with someone who has the same experience, same education. The only difference is that they get to go home and we don't. We're stuck in prison. But we're still like working as a team, as a tandem. Like they tell us, like when they're putting us through that training, they say, look, you guys are co-workers. There's still a line drawn, don't get me wrong, but like they tell us, you guys are equals. You guys are supposed to co-facilitate these groups. And so like that's the awesome part, the dynamic of it is like the guys in that we teach within these groups is like, okay, they're seeing someone that's from the streets, that has experience within the lifestyle, but is out there living responsibly, sober, and all that stuff. And then they get the other hand too, where like, with us, we're in prison with them, so they see us on a day-to-day basis, like, and bro, like, that's the thing about prison, you know who's doing what, right? So if I'm taking the funk, like, if I'm still in that lifestyle, they're not going to respect anything that I tell them in that group. You know, so you have to be able to walk like a straight arrow. If you're not, bro, like these dudes in these groups are not going to respect you. They're not going to take you serious, and quite frankly, a lot of them are going to call you on your BS. But it's been such a opportunity to like. I know I'm in prison, but I know that I'm doing a good work. Some of these guys, right, and this is what they tell you too, like, and I've held on to this philosophy since even when sponsoring people through other groups, like, people's success and their failures are not on my shoulder. All I could do is give them what I have, and what they do with it is on them. You know, so even though, like, some of these guys are still in their addiction, they're not going to learn, at least I'm there contributing and telling them that you have worth, you have value, you know, like, think about your kids, think about your family, like think about like what you're worth, you know? So it's like is such an amazing thing to be able to do in prison, and to know that even when I get out, I could come back to prison and have a job. Like, the prison will hire me, you know, as a parolee, as a felon. It doesn't even matter, bro. Like, the opportunity that this program has given me is like, and I love doing it, bro. I love being a service to my community. I love like trying to help somebody. Even if they don't do nothing with it, at least I did something, you know. I gave them something that they could work with. And they might not get sober right now. They might not get sober this year, or they might even come back to prison. Who knows, right? But maybe that, like, what keeps me going is, like, maybe 10 years from now, that person will be like, man, I remember when Joseph said this in group. And not that I'm the reason why they're getting sober or they change their life, but I get to be...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
So, like, man, bro, like, honestly, this program has, like, it's changed. It's had a lot of challenges, though, too. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's been times where I'm like, man, screw this program. Like this, like, I have an authority conflict, so, like, you know, there's some things that have happened that I'm just like, man, like, shove that program up your ass, you know. I'll still go home without this program.
Yeah.
So it's been a challenge, right? A lot of sacrifice, a lot of growth, but in the end, bro, it's literally been one of the biggest blessings in my life, and I really feel like this is what God's called me to do, and I'm gonna do it to my full capacity, man. Like, I love what I do, man. I can't even wait to, like, be out there and do it on a much larger scale. You know what I mean?
You know what, Joseph? And that's the thing right there. You know how you say how you said that you have an issue with, like, authority and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you're able to conquer, not bucking or going against authority or certain things, your life becomes easier. You know.
Hell yeah.
When you're able to play within those invisible lines, if you will, if that makes any sense. Because even like myself at work, I'm always challenging people as far as like when they ask me to do something. If they ask me in an incorrect way, I'm not gonna do it, but I'm not gonna tell them like in a messed up way. I'm gonna say it in a nice way. If and kind of like that's when you do things in life, when it's just how you go about doing these things.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
That's cool, man. I you know what, I tip my hat off to you, for wanting to change and not staying in the same mindset that you went into the California Department of Corrections, because that's easy. Going along with the mentality that everybody has in there, that's easy. It's going against the grain. That's the real challenge, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's I remember thinking that how before, like, I fit into prison and I fit into the culture, right? And it was like the people that were doing good, those were the weirdos, those are like, you look at the guys that are like programming and you're like, what's up with this dude right here, like, this dude's soft, like, it's straight weenie, straight corn dog.
Yeah.
And then like, and now I'm that person, that people look at this fool, like, like, who the hell he has life without parole, like, tell him to get over himself, But it's crazy because now it's just like, man, my whole perspective in life, like, my view of life has changed. Not only, because, mind you, I was already in recovery, I was already doing good before I got into this program, right? But what this program did was enhance what I was already doing. Like, it made me shed way more layers, it made me be way more transparent, it made me look into myself deeper while still getting educated as well. So, man, like when people tell me now, they're like, I can't even imagine you being a dope fiend. I can't imagine you being like a hardened gang member. And I'm like, man, bro, like, the thing is that I had to challenge everything that I believed in. I had to like now, like, okay, like, I'll say this, like, I know that I'm in prison. Like, I belong in prison because of my choices, right? I'll never, like, downplay that. I'll never say that, like, I don't deserve to be in prison, right? Like, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at. But at the same time, even though I'm in prison, I don't fit into prison anymore. You know, like, I'm part of the minority. Like for the most part, like, not everyone's, like, sober. Like, not everyone's doing what they, like, with genuineness, so, like, with integrity, like, actually programming and doing what they have to do to change, right? So it's kind of a strange concept. Like, even my wife tells me, like, sometimes I just, you know, my wife knows bits and pieces of my story, but, like, it's still hard to put two and two together because she sees Joseph who I am now, right? And even these other people in the prison, like okay, so like this is a non-designated yard, which means there's X and Y and GPs on this yard, and
le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
It was funny because I had a couple of guys that stayed, their GP, right, or they were GP, however you want to put it, but they were like, dang, we thought you were like a straight gang member when we first saw you, and then when we got to know you, it's like you're so far from that, you know? I was just like, that's crazy. Like, to them, I still have the outward appearance with the tattoos and all that stuff, the demeanor, I don't know what it was. But then they got to know me, and they're like, man, we can't even imagine you being part of that. And I'm just like, man, I had to change everything about my lifestyle, bro. Like, and it's not something I'm proud of. It's not something that I boast about. It's something that I'm trying to remove myself as far away as possible, because I just want to be a normal human being out there. I'm not trying to be like, ain't no one giving you like a party for being the most gangster in the world, you know? What the hell is
that? Hey, you know what? And I want to touch on some of the stuff that you said right now when you call back. All right, so let me see right here. Let me check out the comments right here. What yard is this? You know what? I have no idea. I'll go ahead and double check with him right now. When he calls back, I'll ask him what yard he is. I was like, man, I was confused. What year is this? I was like, what do you mean? What year is this? It's 2024. But as far as the yard, I'll ask him right now when he calls back. And Recovery Junkie, much love from New Orleans, Louisiana. Love this channel. Hey, thank you. Highly appreciate it. I saw your comment on that video that I did yesterday with Javier when we're out in the lake. And I still got, I think like 2 more videos that I need to upload. They'll be coming out. I'll drop some of them tomorrow. And there it goes. The prison phone is ringing. Oh, crank call. All right, he should be calling back. You know what? Right before we jumped on the call, the audio went out for a moment, so hopefully that's not what's gonna be happening right now. Typically, from Calipatria, which is this is the only individual that I've had come on from that prison. The calls have been pretty consistent. They've been clear and good. So hopefully it stays like that. Hey, and I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Locked Up Connections. I highly appreciate for sharing the stream.
This call is now being recorded. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Joseph Castro.
Un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Ironwood, Drive, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello. All right. So, actually, we got a question right here on TikTok, and we have a question from Abel. He's asking, what yard is this?
C yard.
C yard. Okay. Let me ask you. Well, you know what? Actually, let me make a comment, then I'm gonna ask you a question. So, you know what? If you know, so you know how you said that kind of like if you're negative in there and you're up to no good, then that's gonna get you that recognition from your peers and whatnot. And if you're doing good, then people are gonna be like, hey, what's up with this weenie? But if you really think about it, and if I was in that type of situation, I'm not trying to be in there a minute longer than I need to be there, just because Like who?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be hanging around with dudes all day. You know, if I have a visit coming my way with my people, that's where I want to be. You know, those whatever hours I'm able to enjoy my family. If I have family visits, I'm trying to hang out with whatever family member comes out, whether it's gonna be my wife, my kids, my parents, or whoever. I'm trying to get out of prison. Just for that short amount of time to at least get away from like the mentality and the daily monotony that's in there that you it's like a freaking the Twilight Zones. You're in prison, you're dealing with the same things over and over again. I'm trying to get away from this stuff. I'm not trying to be in here any longer than I need to be, right?
Yeah, man, and it's crazy that you say that, right? So my first family visit with my wife was in January 15th, right? So it was January 15th, 16th, and 17th. And this was in Tehachapi, right? So obviously I go out there. It blows my mind. I think I had so many moments within that family visit that I was just like, I try not to cuss. I do my best not to cuss, right? So I'm going to keep it 100% right now, bro. There was times where during that family visit, I sat there looking at my wife, bro, and doing like normal things, and I had those realizations of like, son of a bitch, man, like, this is what, like, I can't believe I gave up these normal everyday things in life for this dumbass shit in prison, bro. It was just like, I remember deliberately when the detectives told me, you're gonna give up the best years of your life, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, possibly even some of your 50s. Like is that your? They asked me, is that your goal, to be this down prison homeboy for the rest of your life? And I was 20 years old, so like in that mindset, it's like this is what I signed up. This is what I signed up for. But then fast forward 10 years into that family visit. It was like, damn, man, like, and this is the thing too. When I went back to the yard, I swear it was the strangest thing to hear the yard tower, to see everybody going to work and moving around and hearing that stupid prison conversation right away. Like, bro, like, it made me hate prison that much more, James. And I already hate prison,
Yeah.
So like, to hate it even more, it was just like, damn, bro, but like, it really made me realize, like, man, like, I don't belong here, I don't fit in anymore. Like, and if that means that fools think I'm weak, or I'm soft, or I'm a weenie, or whatever, not it's not to be proud about, but like, it's like, okay, like, I'm sitting here with life without parole. That means I'm gonna die in prison. I don't have a board date. I don't get to go home. Like, the only way out of prison is in a box, is in a coffin, literally. But I don't accept that as my fate anymore. Like, I live like if I was going home tomorrow. My program is if I was going to be released tomorrow, because I'm not going to fall victim into this prison mentality and be confined to what this institution was made for. It's for you to be able to be like, you know what, this is what it is, especially as a lifer, and I'm going to die in prison anyways. Who cares, I'm not going to fall victim to that. So that family visit, like how you mentioned, like, dude, like, I'm disrespected all the time, like, whether it's COs or inmates, and I would have never let that slide before. Never, bro. Like, you're not gonna talk to me like I'm just like some punk, like.
Yeah.
And I would always use my past as a gang member, like I'm not proud of it, but some of my victims are my homeboys, people that I grew up with. My crime is my friend, like. That's how far I used to take things, is that, like, I don't care if you're a homeboy, I don't care if you're an enemy gang member or a normal person, like, anyone can get it. It doesn't matter if you're an authority. It didn't matter, but, like, today it's just, like, when I go through those moments of, like, man, this is hard to walk away, but then I remind myself, like, dude, if I do something to this person, like, who really wins? Like, I look like a dummy because, like, I allow this person to have so much space in my head, or, like, have so much power over me that I reacted.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
No one in society cares about, like, me being violent or like, that's only people in here within this lifestyle, and that's the minority. And even that, like, ain't no one talking about where I'm from. Like, oh, he did that, he did this. Like, they forgot about me the moment they slapped those handcuffs on me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's the crazy part, you know? Like, and so, like, even in those moments, bro, when it gets hard, I always remind myself, what's the normal response? You know, what would a person, like, this is what I tell people. Imagine you went to someone in the streets, right? And give an example, like, yeah, like tell them about your 115 when you hit someone, right? Or like, let's just say you went to go tell someone on the streets, like, hey, I was in prison for like however many years. I did a shoe turn because this person owed $50 on the yard, so I stabbed them. You know how someone in the streets is gonna look at you like, what? You stabbed them over $50? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know, or like, someone called you a bitch or a punk, so you stabbed them? Like, why did you do that? You know, like, that makes absolutely no sense to someone, a normal person out there. And so...
You know, I wanna actually throw my 2 cents on that one right there too. So I had a buddy of mine, my buddy, I call him El Presidente. He's currently in Centinela, and he's the one that helped me set up, make the connections, to start up my channel. And the reason I call him the Presidente is because he became the Mac rep, and he was happy. He was happy when he became the Mac rep, and I was like, man, you know what? From now on, I'm gonna call you El Presidente, and we had a good laugh about it. And then I think there's a few people in there because I refer to him on the channel as that, and sometimes when they see him in the yard, they'll yell across the yard, "Hey, Presidente!" And my boy just ignores him, like forget you, like you don't know me like that, But sorry for digressing, but when he was active, he was up in Pelican Bay, and we would have conversations. I never told him like, hey, you should walk away, you should do this, you should do that. But I did have, I would, have conversations with him, like real conversations, And I remember one time we were talking, and I was like, hey, I was like, like all that stuff, like you're doing in prison, it's cool and all, but none of that serves you. There is no value to it once you come home. It's not like you could go to the bank and tell the bank officer or the bank manager, hey, like I did like this many pegadas, like, hey, give me a bank loan, because I deserve it, because I put in all this work. Yeah. At the end of the day, you can't use that for anything as far as anything that's gonna benefit you, in a positive way. You could.
Hell no.
You could use it, for like some.
Ain't no 401k in that.
That's right. Yeah. There is no retirement plan for that. I was like, yeah, there is, like, you could share some stories, like some war stories, maybe like with me or like somebody else that's lived that life. But to the average Joe, it's not gonna work. You're not gonna impress him. They're gonna look at you like an animal. Like, damn, this fool, like you did what? Why? Like you just can't wrap your hand around it. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. And then ultimately, my buddy, he ended up, he decided to walk away about 2 years ago. And, but the day he decided to walk away, and he told me like, hey, like I can't do this. Like, they want me to hit somebody. I turned it down. And like my first thought, I was like, man, this fool, like he just got himself into a wreck. Cause I knew what was coming next. And then, maybe like a month or two later, he was like, hey, that's it. I'm throwing in the towel. I'm gonna lock it up, after the first of the year. I'm just gonna wait for after Christmas, and then I'm gonna start down my new journey. And then after that, we have conversations, about like that whole thing and what the stuff we were talking about when he was on the main line. And pretty much, with me having those conversations, I was pretty much just telling him without telling
Esta
him.
llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I was telling him without telling him that it was okay to walk away if he wanted to walk away. Like if he walked away, me and him, we would still be good. Like I wasn't gonna turn my back on him and be like, nah, like we can't be friends anymore because you decided not to put in some work. Like, nah, like that's that is like, screw that. Like, for me, I would rather for him, to walk away than him getting his mom getting a phone call and telling him like, hey, like I just picked up a life sentence over this, So,
James, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello. I guess the phone might have.
So it went out a little bit. I don't know if you could hear me right now, but I can't hear anything you said right now.
Okay, so now I could hear you. Just let me know when.
Okay, there you are.
Okay.
There you are. There you are.
So I for me, I would prefer for him to tell me and his mom, like, hey, I walked away because I didn't want to put in work, opposed to him calling me up or calling his mom up and telling his mom, like, hey, I put in some work and I just caught a life sentence.
Yeah.
I was like, what can you live with? I mean, you're about to come home, like I'm not trying to spend my life in prison, and hopefully you're not trying to either, and ultimately he made that decision to walk away, and now he'll be going home in a little bit over 3 years. And I'm guessing it went out again because he's not responding, so the system or that's the thing with G. Yeah, hello. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, man, I'm not giving up and this is the thing, James, like, not only physical freedom, right, because I'm still working, I'm still attempting to work towards that, right, but the biggest thing I'm not willing to give up, James, is the inner freedom that I have today, with purpose and with value and just the identity that I have today. I'm not willing to give that up anymore for anybody, whether that's the homies, whether that's my family, whatever you want to call it, so when I look at that, like, because in reality, like, you could step into your moment of, like, the most active or whatever you've been involved in that gang, right, in that whole lifestyle. Deep down inside, whether you admit it at that moment or not, you're miserable. Your life sucks. Like, there's nothing, like, you're stressed out. Your head's on a swivel all the time. Like, you can't trust anybody. Like, that sucks. There's nothing cool about that. But when you have that inner peace and that inner freedom, like, you know what? If dudes are gonna talk, this is what I had to get to too. Like, people are gonna talk about me whether I'm doing good. They're gonna be like, oh, I would have done that better, or he's full of crap. Whatever it is, right? And if I'm doing bad, then people are like still right there, like, oh, he looks like a dumbass. Look at him. He still hasn't learned. Or like, if I would have been doing that, I wouldn't get caught. So, like, when you get to that point, like, no matter what you do, whether it's good or bad, people are always going to have something to say. You just have to be comfortable with yourself, And I got to that point where, like I said, people look at me like you're weird, bro. Like, you don't get high. Like, you don't even use a cell phone. Like what's wrong with you? Like, you don't want to talk to your family. Like, you're like, no, bro. That's why I got a tablet in myself. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, they gave me a free phone in myself. So once you have that inner freedom and that inner peace, bro, like, it changes the whole dynamic, and you realize that, like, why am I tripping on some dude? Like, literally, there's people in here that are worried about their opinion, and I'll never...
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Again, I don't even remember their names. Like when I remember their faces, but when I see them again, I don't even remember their name or where they're from or anything. I have to be reminded, and it's like, damn, I cared about so much about what this individual thought, but as soon as I left, it was out of sight, out of mind. And then and it makes me realize, like, dang, like, you put everything in this, like, for what? Like, the people that really care about you, like, they're the ones that are crying for you. They're the ones that miss you. They're the ones that want you home dearly. And it's like, why am I going to put someone that, like, really doesn't care about me over, like, those people? That's not fair.
All right. So the phone, Joseph, if you could hear us or hear me, the phone just went out. I know it's about to cut off right now. So we'll be waiting for that new call, and it should be cutting off in any moment now. Because we're about to hit the 15-minute mark, and right now when he calls back, I'm gonna go ahead and read off your messages. Marlene, hey, thank you, appreciate the support, Marlene. You're a huge supporter, really appreciate it, and everybody else, we got Michael from Toronto, Canada. We got Juan. I'm not sure where he's from, but a shout out to Juan if he's on the YouTube side. And who else do we got on here? We got Locked Up Connection. She's always putting it down. I see you, sharing and reposting the videos. Really, really appreciate that right there. Let me see. Recovery Junkie. Shout out to you. I saw your comment the other day on that video from yesterday. And let me see right here. Let me see who else dropped some. Dimples13 put happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Frisco, shout out to Frisco, tapping in from Washington State. And let me see. Hey, Lizzie, thank you for the follow. And then lovely, hey, gracias, for sharing that live. I see you shared it with quite a few people. Highly appreciate that right there. And Chaparrita 805, happy Father's Day. Shout out to Chaparrita. Sandra, gracias, happy Father's Day. And all right, let's see. And I think that's pretty much it on the chat right there. Right now I'm actually streaming. Normally I stream a little bit closer to the phones. I do got two different streaming areas. And today I'm right now I switched it up to the computer, because that chair back there sucks. As comfortable as it looks,
es Global
it's not that
Telling.
comfortable.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
This call is now being recorded.
un individuo encarcelado en la prisión estatal de Ironwood, Blythe, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
I got a IME number.
Gracias por utilizar Global Tellink.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it went out there at the last moment.
Yeah. Yeah, tonight's not a good night. GTL's acting up right now.
Hey, but you know what? The phone service at Ironwood, it's 100 times better than Calepatria. Calepatria has the worst service ever. Hey, you know what? And I see that we just hit 9 o'clock. At what time is it that they shut off the tablets over there on you guys?
11:15. But I was actually going to tell you that if you don't mind, if this could be the last one.
Okay.
Usually this is when I start like getting ready for bed and all that. I call the wife, we go through our little routine before we go to sleep. But I was actually gonna let you know if that's all right with you.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and run some calls. With your next available date. That's cool. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Plus, I've been streaming like I did quite a few hours today. So I think I did almost 3 hours earlier on. So my wife hasn't tripped on me yet. So I know I gotta get out there, and especially being Father's Day and whatnot. So
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I'm already knowing, man. When I tell my wife at 8, she's like, "Man, why so late?" I was like, "Look, I'll do an hour. I promise you."
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I appreciate that sacrifice. And I didn't want to reschedule again because I already did it once last week, and I'm like, man, like this time I definitely, I gotta definitely come through today, especially since I've been lollygagging and replying to you. I was like, I tried to send that message to you this morning, and it wouldn't go through, and it took hours for it to go through.
Yeah, it's been all bad. It's been all bad like the last couple of days, bro.
Yeah, and you know what? Right now, let me take the opportunity to read up some of the comments right here. So, a moment ago when you were speaking, we had Marlene, and she dropped the following comment on here. She said, "You don't know what you got till it's gone, unfortunately." And she made that comment when you were speaking about when you were in custody, I guess at the police station when they were interrogating you, and the cops were telling you that you were gonna possibly be in prison up to the age of 50.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then she also put he's speaking facts on what you were talking about at that moment.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's reality, man. I see guys here that my neighbor's been down for 34 years. One of the brothers, this white dude, he just did 37 years, got granted parole. That's 37 years of his life gone.
How many?
It's sad, bro. 37.
37. Wow.
37 years, bro. He's coming home.
Yeah.
I don't know how. He came from Chuckawalla, so he got granted parole over there, but he came over here. So, God willing that he goes home from my here. There's still a process in that. Even when you get granted parole, like the governor still has the opportunity to strip you of your date. Hopefully that doesn't happen with him, but You know, I look at these guys that have been down 30-something years, bro, and I'm just like, man, you give up, like, this is like you're 50 years old, you know, like 50-something, like, that's just hard for me to, like, I'll be damned if that's going to be me, James, you know, like.
Yeah.
If it is, you know, I mean, that's God's will. I believe in that, you know. But I'm not just going to sit here and, like, accept it as my fate. Like, okay, like, I'm going to be 50-something years old when I go home. You know, like I said, I don't live my life like that. I live like if I'm going to go home, if they're going to call me to R&R tomorrow. And I already have my job offers. I already have my support network. I already know what I'm going to do. So I know where I'm going. Yeah, so I don't live like I'm gonna be here for 30 years.
Yeah. You know what? And right now that you mentioned, you know, getting out when you're 55 or, you know, possibly even later, because, you know, you see cases like that. I don't think it's that often, but you know, they do occur. And a few months back, or, you know, actually it was like back in January, I was down. I had the I don't even know what words to use, but I was down at I was fortunate enough to go down to ARC and meet one of the ARC members that is in charge of setting up the rights home, you know, for people that are paroling.
Yeah.
And he was that day that I was down there, and he was sharing with me that older lady. She was like, I want to say she was like 77 years old, and she was getting paroled. She had, I don't know, spent over like 30 or 40. I think he might have said 44 years. I don't remember the exact time, but she spent a lot of time, you know, in prison. And when he told me that she was 77 years old, I was like, man, I couldn't wrap my head around it. It was shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
it reminds me of this OG in Tatchby. His name was Sleepy, right? Been down 43 years, bro. And I used to tell him, bro, like, aren't you too old to be, like, you're costing California so much money to keep your old ass in here, like, go home already. You know, like, damn, what's wrong with you? You're still going by your Picasso, everything, like, god damn, bro, like, like, you're a dinosaur in here, bro, like, you've been in prison since, like when they only had, like, 5 prisons in California.
Yeah.
You know, like, you need to get out of here, dog, you know, like, what is wrong with you?
Hey, let me ask you something, because I've been doing this thing, and I've been getting a lot of like feedback from. I recently had somebody on here that has a C number from the 80s.
Yeah, that's what he had. He had a C number. While his original number was a B number.
Yeah.
And then he had a C number.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
So, you know what? Maybe next time we you know, if you're available, maybe like either in the, you know, in the next few days, tomorrow, Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe we could jump on a video visit. And what I've been asking people is you know, to shout out their CDCR number, you know, when they got their CDCR number, and the oldest CDC number or CDCR number they've come across, you know, while doing time. And a lot of people,
okay.
they for whatever reason, you know, they find it interesting, and I want to see, you know, if I put out videos like that, if it hits, you know, and brings people in that normally wouldn't, you know, watch this type of content.
Yeah, I think the oldest one we have here is a B number. I think my grandpa was a B number. I literally just got pictures from my mom of my grandpa in Soledad, in Solano, and Folsom. And it's crazy, bro. Like, yeah, I can't believe that. All the way up to his last prison term before he got deported, it was kind of crazy looking at that. Because I remember looking at those photos as a kid and thinking, like, man, my grandpa's a G, you know? Like, I can't wait to go to prison. And, like, now I look back at it and I see people with B and C numbers, and I'm like, dang, this person was probably in prison with my grandpa, bro. Like, how sad is that, you know? Like, my grandpa was the OG, and these guys were probably barely coming in or you know, maybe starting their time, and my grandpa was already doing time. So, like, when I see those B's and C numbers and D numbers, I'm just like, dang, bro, like, that's insane, you know? I always just think the first thing that always comes to my mind is my grandpa being in prison at such a young age and being institutionalized. And again, like, there was only like 3 or 4 prisons when he was coming in. Now there's, 33 or 34 or something like that?
Yeah. Man, that's
yeah, for sure.
That's a trip right there. That's a trip. You know what? Earlier on, I was having we were speaking about a women's prison, and I don't know what crossed my mind, but I was like, because we were talking about women, the numbers, because I guess women they're WX, and then now I guess
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
they've exhausted those letters already. So now they're moving on to the double digits like the men's numbers. And then I was like, I was like, if a guy from the guy from a male prison goes to a women's prison, do they change their number? Are they able to keep their same number, or do they transition them over to a woman number? Because you don't know. Because nowadays, I mean, it happens. So I want to know.
No, it happens.
It happens. Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good point. That's kind of weird.
I mean, I don't know how many people have thought of this question, but I'm like, man, I gotta find out, like what's happening with this individual. Are the once they cross over, and that's a different type of crossing over. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's the real crossing over right there.
Information about that because I don't know anyone that's been like that. I hope I don't meet anyone that's like that. That'd be crazy. But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Man, yeah, it's like, you know what?
The world's crazy.
It is like stuff that it just like things that you would have never thought about happening years ago, and it just seems like it's happening now. So it definitely it leaves me scratching my head a lot of the times.
Yeah, for sure.
But
you're not the only one there.
You know what? I know we got about 4 minutes left. On this call. Before we're gonna part ways, right. I want to go ahead and read up some of the comments here, and then I'll go ahead and let you do some shout outs. Don't want to.
Okay.
You gotta give recognition because obviously your lady. She's sacrificing too, because you could be on the phone with her instead of being on the phone with me. So shout out to her.
She's listening. She's listening live.
That's right.
She enjoys it.
Hey, and shout out to your wife. For sharing those pictures. She sent me quite a few pictures. And I got that running in the background, on the YouTube stream. So whenever you guys got something, and I'm not asking you, do you know how to draw? Do you do art?
Yeah. So remember, I saw you in those some of those visiting pictures, like those paintings in the back. I'm the one that did it, like the Hulk, the Valentine's Day painting. I don't remember the Thanksgiving painting. I did the writing on the Christmas painting, but yeah, honestly, I'm lazy,
Oh, okay.
I'm just lazy to draw, but I haven't drawn anything for a long time. I mostly do painting, but I don't have paints right here, so I haven't really done anything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The reason I was asking, just if you would do because I know prison art is it's popular out here. So if you had any, you could showcase it, and maybe you'll get some people hit you up, and make some ends like that.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it, man.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and read off one of these comments right here from TikTok. We got a comment over here from Ismael, and he writes, "I did 16 years straight in all 4 yards. I know he was early. He was on the live we had a little bit earlier on." So I appreciate, you for those of you that are dropping comments in here, it definitely does help us out, get into the algorithm and push us out. So shout out to you guys for listening and, dropping comments or asking questions and, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. And then I'm gonna hand over the mic to you, and then, let you do your thing. And then, we'll wrap it up and call it a night.
Yeah, I mean, once again, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Just continue to be the man that these kids need you. That's the one thing. I didn't have my dad growing up, so I don't know what that looks like. But thank God that I have my faith in God. I've had a dad the whole time. I just didn't know it. But also, to you again, James, thank you, man. I'm glad that you got to spend the time with your daughter and stuff, and I really appreciate you and your wife putting this together, and Eric for recommending me. I give a shout out to my wife, my mom, my sister, my niece for coming yesterday for visit. It's always a blessing, man. All the families that came out here, it was packed. I've never seen visiting packed so much, you know, and it was just an awesome thing to see. And just all the opportunities, man, that we have available even in prison, man, like this OMCP program that I'm talking about, man, it just sharpened me up, man, and it's the reason why it's a big reason why I am who I am today. And again, I told you, like, I was already in recovery and rehabilitation, but that definitely elevated me, so I appreciate the opportunities that OMCP has given me. I give a shout out to the counselors that I work with, because they're amazing. I tell my counselor that I work with, like,
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Ironwood don't deserve her, but, you know, like, she's an amazing person, and I hope I could be a reflection of that type of counselor, like, because, man, she's awesome, you know, so, and just all the supporters on listening to this podcast, you know, shout out to all you guys, too, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me.
All right, and just to give you a heads up, your wife is actually in here. She's tapping in. She just wrote a comment here. She writes, "I appreciate you talking to him, his wife. Happy face." And like I said around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, we're out of here. You guys go on and have a good night, and you'll be hearing back from us soon.
All right, James. You have a good night, bro. Thank you.
You as well. Thank you.